All right, so that's 7:05. Aaron, are you here with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, Aaron.
Hello.
All right, do we have enough? Hi, Jess. We have enough to get started here, so let's call the meeting to order at 7:05. A couple more people are chiming in right now. Perfect. Aaron, we have a quorum, correct?
Yeah, I think so. We have
Perfect.
5. So that, yeah.
We got, yep, perfect. All right, so first thing is welcome everyone and welcome Trudy. Hi, Trudy.
Hi.
Thanks
Good
for
to be
joining
here.
us.
Thanks. This is going to be my last visit. So I'm just participating to encourage everyone. So
Awesome. Appreciate that. First thing on the agenda is the approval of the minutes for May 2nd. Can I hear a motion for approval?
We have an addition to the agenda too. That the Japanese knotweed thing that we got.
Right, that's addition. So that's next. First, we got to approve
Oh,
the
did I?
minutes from May.
Oh, I must have mixed them up. My bad.
It's all right.
I will make
So
a motion.
I can. Perfect. Do I hear a second to that motion? Kathy seconds it. Any discussion? No? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstain? All right, so moved. Any additions to the agenda or public comment?
Just the Japanese knotweed email that we got.
That's it.
Perfect.
Mhm.
Awesome.
I have just one small update on the 5G bill that I mentioned before. I believe that it's being voted on today, probably. It passed the House and it went to the Senate. And they have taken out some of the certain verbiage, but it's still basically it's going through forward with what it intended to do. Is the verbiage changes that they have are not really going to make a difference. So the next meeting I can give you the clearer updates, but that's where it is right now. It might be voted on today.
All right, well, thank you for that. And again, if you can send that over to Aaron before the meeting, we can actually put it on the agenda. So that'll be awesome.
Yeah. I just now found out about it, so.
Gotcha. Any other additions to the agenda? I actually just received an email with some things going on at the land trust. So land trust update, I will add that to the agenda as well under new business. Okay.
On the 5G bill, does that mean they're going to move ahead with putting 5G throughout the state?
The infrastructure is already being set up, and they took out some words, like they took out the I'm just trying to find it here in the information I just received, but they were doing like a one, they were trying to part of it was they were trying to set up all of the antennas and all of the cables and everything all on one pole. That was one of the major issues we had with it, because it's like a one I forget what they call it, one stop ready or something like that. So they could just have everything all on one thing and just like turn on one switch and have it all go. And the problem with that was that local officials and local towns wouldn't have any say or jurisdiction over that, whether they wanted that or not, or they didn't want to have them in certain places. And they were finagling that verbiage about that part, but I don't know all of the details of what what they're taking out and what they're putting in and what they might pass. But it's very concerning.
Okay.
So again, that might be a perfect thing to bring up when we potentially meet in person next month.
Yes.
So, and if we do meet in person and you have the highlights, it can, we can prepare it, pass them out.
Yeah.
That'd be fantastic. One more addition to the agenda, Erin.
Yeah. Did you just see Barbara's email?
Yeah, the CPACE program.
Yeah.
So
What?
Barbara just asked us to add this to the agenda tonight, so
Okay.
we will.
I have to send Suzanne a new Zoom link, so
All right,
she'll be joining us in a second.
perfect. All right, I'm gonna switch this around a bit, and let's do old business before we do new business, in case
Yeah, I
the
think
new
I just
business.
switched them.
Yeah, exactly. So we have a social media update. Erin, do you have our latest numbers?
I don't. I'm sorry, I got out of work late.
Okay,
It's going well. We're getting a lot of likes, not a whole lot of shares. The Bat House, like the educational info is getting a lot, but no one's really engaging in the competition.
Yeah.
I've gotten a couple of emails from people in town, which has been really cool. And then the only other thing with the pollinator pathway, Anna Astorita had sent us a thing on how to basically, if you need help registering, the land trust can help, or anybody in the pollinator pathway can help. So I'm just going to do like a little info graphic kind of a thing with the pollinator pathway email and have that up there for about a week or two.
perfect.
Well, permanently, but yeah.
We've had a
So
lot
if
of
we can ask,
on that.
if we can ask all the board members to really share and invite people to like the page, especially other organizations, so we can cross publicize the different events and different items going on. We just really need to make it a value for people to just click on that like button so we can pop up on their streams. All right. So if we all can do, invite 5 people, I think that'll be very productive.
Mhm.
And
Erin,
it's,
I'm just curious about the advertisement part of that. Did you happen to, I don't know if we can do that. I'm not talking about social media necessarily, but did you put that with the library with Teresa? Is that gone?
No, because you mean the Bat House or the pollinator pathway?
No, the competition. The competition.
No, I didn't put it with Teresa because I think we missed the deadline for her. I think she has to have it like by the 15th, and I think I missed the deadline to get it in with her for this month, and we were deciding tonight. So I wouldn't have had time to get it out with her. Actually, I think it would have had to been the month before in order to get it out in time. So no, but I got it out in the paper, at least in the Voices. But I didn't hear back from I sent it to the Republican American Spectrum. I never heard back from either of them. So it's kind of a bummer. But the Voices was great. They got back to me the next day and they were like, "Oh yeah."
Well, I think it's last week of school for classes too, but you might think of possibly sending it to the PTO head.
Well, it ended last night, so.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Thank you, though. All good suggestions for future competitions.
again, one of the things that we might benefit from is in the new school year, if we decide to take this up, we could just get the teachers behind us on it. It'll be very good. We got one more. There we go.
Hi, sorry.
It's all right. Thank you for joining us.
Glad to
All
be
right, so the Bat House competition, pollinator pathway, do we want to have an update? Tony, Erin?
We've got a lot of people signing up, so I don't know how many more updates we want to have. We're going to push to keep getting more people signed up. And I've been talking to some people on from the Roxbury Ridgewater Garden Club, and maybe there's some consideration next year of buying some plantings that people could use to some native plantings. But I think people are pretty much, the people that worked on it are pretty much they want to have a little bit of a break. They've worked hard and we feel we've gotten there. We've got Roxbury on the map. So I don't know how much more we want to push for this.
Tony, are there any empty spots or any gaps geographically to the pollinator pathway?
There's no firm metric to say yes or no to that.
Yeah.
When I talk to, I've asked that question about, well, how do you prove that you've got a contiguous path through your town? And, I don't really get good answers.
Yeah.
Because anybody who's got a piece of property can put one little section, a tiny little section.
Right.
And it looks like their whole property's there. But, there's no doubt that Roxbury's got a contiguous path through the town, giving there so much open space and given the number of people that have signed up.
Well, I think that might be a nice senior project for folks, for one of the high school students next year. If we end up doing the GIS program, they could use that program to actually map out the properties that are, that are participating, and we could see visually on a map if there's any extended gaps.
That's a good idea.
I just think it'd be interesting.
Well, some of the people that have signed up have a lot of reservations about identifying their particular property. There's a privacy concern on their part. They didn't want their addresses published. I didn't question them about why they, as to why, but I did assure them that, they're just, the only thing that's going to happen is their property is going to be like a little dot on a map.
Right.
So there's no specific address tied to that. So I think we have to honor that.
Well, that would be the GIS as well. If we did an overlay map and then include the addresses, again, it's just something interesting to see if
we can do something like that, but we can't.
If there's a way to identify any gaps, and maybe we could promote those particular areas and say, hey, somebody who lives in this area, reach out to him and make sure they know about it. And if they need help, reach out. Us, the land trust, anybody.
We have Joey's Trail, and we have some native plantings on Joey's Trail. Like Joey's Trail could be part of the pollinator pathway.
Yeah. All right. We also have recycling of cans and bottles. I found out why we don't recycle cans and bottles and at the dump anymore, and that is because the company that we're contracted with was not happy with it. So it had nothing to do with COVID.
Are you talking about cans and bottles that have deposits on them? Is that what
Yes.
you're talking about? Okay.
So if you recall, at the dump, you used to be able to bring cans and bottles.
Mhm.
And if you did that, there was a collection and it was assumed that it went to the Roxbury Fuel Bank.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why it's no longer allowed. I assumed it had to do with COVID because it was at that same exact time. So the only thing that we could do is we could find an alternate pickup place for those cans and bottles. It just couldn't be at the dump. I don't know how that would work. I'm sure we could locate a spot, but who's going to be responsible for it? Number one. Number two, we rinse our cans and bottles. I don't know if everybody does. And if we promote this, there may be some sanitation stuff that goes along with it. So what does everybody think about? I mean, we now know the reason why. We know that we want to recycle, and we're assuming that it's the company that's taking the aluminum and the plastic out and recycling it and keeping the money for themselves.
You're talking about the nickel deposits, right?
The nickel deposits.
Nickel deposit stuff. Okay. Yeah. The nickel deposit stuff is the only stuff you can be assured of that's getting recycled. Because it gets crushed, it gets, and when you go to one of
Well, it
these.
has value.
Well, yeah, when you go to these recycling places, you have to separate the plastic, glass, and aluminum. The stuff that goes in the recycle bin, God knows where that ends up. I mean, it's wishful thinking to think that it's getting recycled, I think.
Right. Well, it's getting recycled enough that they've noticed that there's no or not enough 5-cent deposits in it. So somebody's looking through it or looked through it at some point.
In the big bin where everybody dumps their stuff,
Yeah.
there's plenty of nickel. I see tons of nickel
Well,
deposits.
now there is, but there was before an opportunity to separate
There
the
was.
nickel,
There was.
plastic, nickel,
Saying
aluminum, nickel. And
Yeah,
that's
we
the
could-
reason why it got taken away, was because the company that does the recycling says you can't do that.
I thought it was a Boy Scout.
Yeah, I thought it was a Boy Scout thing. Because it
That
was
they
always-
did it.
I remember like signs saying, like a Boy Scout troop, like manage this.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Right, but so again, we were recycling at the dump. We were separating the nickel deposits. They're not allowed, according to the folks at the dump, they're not allowed to do that anymore because the company that manages our recycling prices it out, assuming that the aluminum and the plastics are going in there.
Oh, I see.
So we're taking
Right,
money out of their pocket.
I just wanted to add that I thought that it was because of COVID too, because they stopped separating the 5-cent deposits out at the beginning of that because they stopped a lot of different recycling things.
Right.
So I do know that there was and I don't know if it still is happening, but there was a program that the Boy Scouts did behind the Roxbury Market. I don't know if they are still doing that now, if it stopped during COVID stuff and it returned, but that might be a place for us to collect it because it was done there before in the past. I don't know for how long, but I do know that was a thing that they did there.
Does anybody have a connection with the Roxbury Boy Scout troops?
I knew Jason McKay. Like I have his email. The Boy Scouts did some, volunteer work on Joey's Trail. And I think that Jason Kay, he was one of the leaders.
Okay.
I think he's still involved in the Boy Scouts. I can share his email
Perfect.
if that's helpful.
Yeah, that would be great, Trudy. And Jess, I know you're passionate about this. Any chance that you have the bandwidth to
Yeah,
see if we can get?
I could contact him because, I was actually volunteered and sworn in as the recycling coordinator of the town in 2015, which I don't know what that means really, but I've tried to do lots of different things to contribute to the program and education and stuff. And that's how I just knew about that part. But I do remember that we could not put on the flyer that they hand out with all of the information, all the different, I redesigned that and updated all the information on there. And I know we couldn't put the 5-cent deposit on that because then when it would show that we were, we would have a public record of it out there that's what we did. And the 5-cent deposit went to the fuel fund. And we couldn't do that. We couldn't put that on there several years ago when I did that because of the resource company knowing about that. And so now I guess we've been found out. So unfortunately, but it would just be, yes, like a matter of a place for people to conveniently deposit those. But I'll ask because I talked to Wayne at the market a lot about that stuff too, recycling and stuff there, and maybe he has a connection there too, so I'll figure that out.
So
Well,
perfect.
I'll
And
be
if
happy
you
to
want to
figure
set up a call, Jess, I'm happy if you want an extra body on there. or if anybody else wants to be on the nickel recycling committee.
So Lorenzo, what's going on is we're paying this company to take away the plastic
Recycling.
recycle. Either we're paying them or they're giving us some money. I don't know how.
No, we're paying them,
We're paying them. So
but that
then-
price,
the price includes they'll be able to fish out the 5 cent deposit things and collect the money.
right,
So if you paid them more money, then they wouldn't mind. I mean, this is a dollar issue here. They're not getting paid enough, so they want those nickel deposits.
well, I don't know what the politics and the finances of it are. I mean, that's not really for
I
us.
know, but the thing is, it's a matter of they're going to complain.
Like, we're not gonna pay more and then have less money in the budget for the fuel bank. So we just need to find a creative way. And again, the Boy Scouts would be a great shield to hide behind. We still get what we want done, and no one's gonna go against the Boy Scouts. I mean,
Right, right. I think it's going to have to happen it's going to have to happen like in the back of the.
I don't know.
some-
Let's form a committee and let's figure it out. Does anybody else passionate about it and want to help Jess on this?
Yeah, I'll help Jess. I'm interested in recycling. I've been doing some research on it and
And I was gonna say too, I'll start sharing with you guys, because I've attended workshops and webinars over the years about all the things that are happening with recycling, and I can share those. I get those emails with the links to all of that stuff. I can share that. So if
Yeah.
any,
I had sent out an article I read. It was a two-part article. You were probably familiar with that if you're involved with this. I mean, a lot of that stuff was new to me. It was certainly interesting.
Well, let's pull this offline in the sake of time and have you guys powwow. And again, if you need one more body and you're willing to go around my schedule, it's kind of crazy during the day, but I'll make some time. And we'll explore and see if we can find an alternate solution that works for everybody. And
We can work something out. I can work with Jessica on this. And
perfect. And then we'll have you guys report back next month.
okay, all right with you,
All
Jess?
right.
and I'll just get the email from Trudy of the guy that she knew was involved in. I guess maybe the troop is through the Roxbury Recreation Commission. I don't know if they're related to them or not,
The
but
Boy Scout troop?
Yeah.
I don't know.
or
Yeah,
through
just-
The Boy Scouts are like an independent,
Yeah.
okay.
do they
Just-
need a sponsoring organization? I don't know.
Oh, they're
Yeah.
the town.
Well,
I'll-
Jason McKay is, he's very, he's a font of information. Let me put it that way. So
Perfect.
he will be of assistance,
Okay,
I'm sure.
Aaron, did Caitlin ever get that information back to you in regards to Trails Days and how many people showed up?
She's logging in now.
All right. So we'll give her a minute to come on. Was anyone able to attend?
I don't know. I haven't
me.
talked to her since. I do know that there was like definitely one person signed up, or two maybe.
It was kind of cool to hear it on the day of. It was being publicized on the radio. So that Connecticut Trails Days. So that was kind of cool. I'm in a brace and I'm having surgery in 2 weeks. So I don't think my doctor would have appreciated me taking a trail walk.
Nope.
Sorry to hear.
Neither would my insurance company. I'm sure. Well, you know what? We'll go back to that when Caitlin gets on. I just want to move into the new business. I don't know how many folks have, there she is. We'll go back to it then. Caitlin, you're just in time. We're looking for an update on Trails Days. And she's connecting the audio. Caitlin, you on?
Yes, thank you.
Hey.
Hey,
So you were just in the agenda where we're looking for a Trails Day update. So how did you make out?
I had one participant.
Okay.
Yay!
Yeah, it was a friend of mine.
How
I
many
didn't have a
people-
great turnout. I told everybody about it, but yeah. But it was nice. I met some people on the trail. I told them, Roxbury Conservation Commission and all that good stuff. But yeah,
All right. So can you get, did you get them to sign the form that they were supposed to sign?
indeed.
Perfect. Can you get that to Aaron or I?
Sure thing.
Perfect. And did you guys have a nice walk? That's the other important part.
Oh, it's beautiful. We went along the Chapag River Road. Obviously, you know that. And then we went swimming since it was only my friend and I. So
Very cool.
yeah, it was nice.
Nice.
Did you get any pictures for the website?
The only picture I got was of me and my girlfriend that didn't want me to share her bathing suit
Okay.
picture.
All right. Well, next time you got to get us a couple pictures for the Facebook page.
Yes, sir. If
All
there
right.
is next time, right?
There's definitely going to be a next time.
That you'll be there.
I will be. I was just sharing. I have surgery on the 23rd on my knee.
Oh my gosh,
So-
what you have done?
Well, I'm getting all my old meniscus taken out because it's
Ugh.
useless.
Your old meniscus.
Well, I did ACL 20 years ago, and apparently this is stuff they don't tell you. But anyways,
Wow.
keep it on track here.
Good.
We're gonna go into new business because we have more new business to add. So the first one is, did everybody see? Was everybody on the email from Ron
No.
regarding a couple things?
No,
I
it
know-
went to like Yumi, Barb, and Teresa.
Went
I
to
got
me.
it too.
You did?
Yeah,
Okay.
Tony called me about it, so he was on it as
Okay.
well. So Ron was, I think the crux of it was Ron was concerned, and Kathy, I'm sure you've spoken with him, so you can, if I have it wrong, you can clarify it. He was concerned that we changed the purpose of the bat house. I talked to Barbara Henry about this as well and explained that the bat house and the publicity that we were looking for from the contest was to enhance education. The Wiener grant is about education. So what we did and what we voted on and what was part of the minutes was absolutely
I'm gonna
along the
that out.
lines of
You said
the
my
Wiener
friend.
grant. And once that was explained, it was understood why we did it. Does anybody feel strongly that the bat house belongs in Joey's Trail?
Well, that was the original purpose, but I think the contest is also a good idea too. And we can always get more bat houses.
Right. So to take this further, does anybody feel that the contest is inappropriate?
No, if you look at the wording, if you look at the Wiener grant, and because I got copies of it, signed and delivered, the wording on what we intend to do with the money is not, it's, I wouldn't say it's vague, but there's a lot of latitude in what we can do.
So to speed this along, because I want to talk about positive, good things that are happening. Do we have to spend any more time on, does anybody want to have a discussion about why it would be inappropriate for us to hang or repurpose the bat house to the contest?
Hi.
Kathy, go ahead.
I just think that since it was originally decided to place them at Joey's Trail, I think we should appropriate some more bat houses out of the Wiener grant. And
So
do
Kathy, explain to me how it was decided that they're going to go on to Joey's Trail.
Well, that was quite a while ago, and it was there was a lot of talk about positioning them, and that was the intent. So that's all. So I think the contest is a good idea, but I think we should continue on with the original plan as well, in addition to.
Okay, so one of the things that I'm going to recommend, well, I'm gonna recommend, because it's not really emotional, is that we continue with the bat education. And one school is back up, so spend the summer trying to get in touch with some teachers. And then we shouldn't, and as a group, we decided we weren't gonna go for money, for grants and get more money than we knew what we're gonna use the money for, okay? Rather than get money and then figure out what we were gonna do with it, we were gonna figure out what we wanted to do, what would be good for the community, and what the group was very interested in, and then go out and get money to satisfy those things.
Hmm.
So one of the things that I'd like to propose is that we spend the summer trying to get in front of some teachers or Boy Scouts or some groups that can help us get in front of a bunch of people. And now that COVID's done, another thing that we originally spoke about was not buying bat houses. So Kathy, we actually didn't buy the bat house to hang on Joey's trail. We bought the bat house to see how bat houses were built, because we talked about having an assembly line, because the original idea was, I proposed it, have an assembly line that we'd bring the community together to build a whole bunch of bat houses, and we supply the parts for it. So I'm going to propose that we try to find some teachers or leaders in the community that can help us get people together to educate them on the bats and how important they are to the ecosystem. And then culminate that with sometime in the fall, having an actual community bat house build. And we should have enough bat houses to put all throughout town, including Joey's Trail.
Perfect. That's good. Okay. Can I add something at this point? Since we're on the subject of Ron Fannis, I talked to him and he came up with an idea that he asked me to propose to the commission. He said, in the fact that Lorenzo, you had suggested that we operate by committee. Ron's suggestion is that we create a committee called the Wildlife Educational and Cultural Committee, and that I would be the head of it, but I wouldn't be doing anything. Ron would be the person behind the scenes, setting up all these wonderful educational seminars and whatnot in conjunction with the library and in conjunction with school events. He's very well connected and he's a lot of interesting people. And I thought that was a wonderful idea. So I'd like to hear what people have to say about that.
So this is an open committee and an open meeting, open to the public. We've invited Ron to this committee. I was hoping that he was never going to leave the committee.
Well, this is his participating.
Right. So I, again, feel that the people doing the work in the in this board, we had a meeting about what we wanted to do and what we wanted to accomplish and what we wanted to focus our time on. We had meetings about what our mission statement was going to be. And we had a meeting that this board should not just be the board members, but also should be the folks, volunteers, which could potentially be new future board members. And to me, this is a request for a continuation for Ron to continue to do what he did before, which was what Ron wanted to do, and which I don't have a problem of. He can do whatever he wants to do, but this board, the culmination of this board, should decide what we do.
Well, that's why I suggested we have a conversation about it. Exactly.
Yeah.
Precisely. It's not my decision, Ron's decision. It's a group
Right.
discussion, majority
I mean,
rules.
Ron as an individual, as a citizen, can go ahead and create put together every talk that he wants. I would love him to be on the, you know, be part of these meetings and active.
Perhaps that will happen in the future, but just for now, I'd like to hear what people have to say on the commission
Sure.
about the proposal. Does anybody have any input on that?
Well, I think it taps into Ron's strength, what he wants to do. Um, I'm fine with it.
Okay,
I mean, we have the opportunity to bring in speakers. One of the things in the Wiener grant was that we were going to use the money to bring in speakers. Well, we got the grant renewed for the year. So we got the money left over from the prior year, and now we've got $3,000 in the renewal. So there's money there for doing stuff like bringing in speakers, which was one of Ron's things. So I know.
So-
Speaker on bats.
go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, but Kathy, are
would be
you saying that,
appropriate.
Judy, what? I didn't hear you.
Get a speaker on bats.
right?
Oh, there you go. Yeah,
So you know that the committees just report back to the board.
correct.
Okay,
Oh, yes,
so they can't do anything.
no, it would be definitely under the auspices. The proposal was to create a committee under the auspices of the Conservation Commission. So really, the Conservation Commission is the ultimate body for these decisions. So ideas would be brought forth to the commission for approval and a general vote, whether or not to go forward with that and have Ron set these things up. But it really is the Conservation Commission's jurisdiction. Make sense?
One thing, Ron, I mean, Ron was used to being the chair of this committee, so he has to know he's got to step back out of that role. So if he wants to bring in a speaker, he thinks it's a good idea to bring in a speaker who's going to charge us $400 or $500. He can't just go ahead and say,
No, he's not planning on doing it. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the Conservation Commission has the ultimate decision-making.
yeah, he could make.
And then Ron can bring forth ideas as to speakers, or the commission can say, as Trudy just did, you can bring in a speaker for bats, which is a wonderful
Bring in
idea.
speakers for the bats, yeah.
And then the commission can decide, these are good ideas, not good ideas, and then ask Ron to set it up. Am I being clear on this?
Yes.
So just what do people think about it? It is his strength. I thought it was a great idea, but ultimately it's the majority rule here.
I think it's a great idea because especially he's got the connections and he can make it happen. He's done that in the past with the conjunction with the library.
Yeah.
So if we come up with something and then we can propose it to him and say, how about this? And then he can set it all up. He loves to do that. So why not?
Still, again, the leader of the projects, the ultimate decider would be the commission as a whole.
Right.
Have to be, a committee cannot spend a nickel.
Without the consent of the
Correct.
conservation.
So, right. So again, I would personally love to see him bring his skills and talents and resources to the actual meetings. If he's using you as a conduit for that, I mean, we still get access to the resources. Little concerned why it's happening this way,
I'm sure
but
there are reasons, but
yeah,
Your next meeting, even going to be there, is going to be in person, correct?
it's our next meeting is going to be hybrid, and I
Oh,
hope
well,
that all
hybrid.
of our meetings will be hybrid from here forward.
Okay, well,
So you.
Ron might be more comfortable looking across the table or whatever room from other people. I don't think that he's a fan of Zoom. I think we all, so. He certainly has a lot of talent and energy to offer. So
So
I would support him using his energy for the Conservation Commission's sake.
do we have to talk about anything else with the grievance that he brought up?
No, I think that's pretty much it.
So does anybody feel that we are not communicating to the public in a fair and meaningful way?
Well, he had some issue with my pursuing the grant with the WINA grant. But, the WINA grant didn't come from Ron, it came from the Conservation Commission.
Actually, no, Ron was the contact.
But
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
Ron's connection.
It was Ron's
it was Ron's connection, but professionally, it came from
He
the
brought it
group.
to the Conservation Commission and the.
So
It didn't come
this
from Ron
is-
personally.
this is kind of the root of the matter with the Wiener grant and the way that people. So, Aaron, I have conversations with Aaron about this, that it's very important that if any of us get hit by a bus, that the Conservation Commission doesn't stop. Anything that we do is public work. It's not our work. It's work that we volunteer for the public. So with this, contacts and various different things, Wiener grants, to me, I will have been successful as the chair when my replacement takes the seat, hopefully within, the next term, that I can pass on a torch and all of our work continues without any interruption, with spreading information in a meaningful way. That's why Facebook and Instagram and publicity and what have you, it's all part of communication. So when, again, I get one of my hesitations is this shouldn't be anybody's pet project. This is a public and open to the public commission. I love
So-
the energy. Somebody was speaking?
Yeah, you were. I didn't want to interrupt you. Sorry, sir.
All right. So this is public, and we should just go forward knowing that. And again, we're here to serve Roxbury. And great, we have resources. We're going to bring those resources on. Love the energy, but things like that, the comment that was made about Tony taking the torch and moving forward with it. I mean, Tony did a service for the board, which is at the service of the community.
I simply followed up. I put in a call. I said, we submitted a grant proposal. What's the status? And they asked me some questions. And I answered all the questions, and they said, fine, we're going to send you the money. So
Right. There should not be, again, does anybody feel that Ron's comment was justified, and who does Tony think he is to take up that torch and to continue to submit for a grant on behalf of the Conservation Committee?
I didn't resubmit the grant. The grant had already been submitted.
But I mean, you followed up with it. That's what I'm saying. You picked up the torch. Does anybody think that comment was appropriate?
Well, I don't know enough about Ron and his grievance, but I mean, if he has something to bring to the table, like it sounds like he has a lot of contacts and he wants this to be public and he wants, everybody to work together, then what are his ideas? I don't think that Tony was out of line, but I'm new and I don't,
No.
Yeah, I mean, I thought, hey, I got $3,000 for the scholars, for the Conservation Commission. So what's wrong with that? I
Yeah.
told them how we were going to spend it. And they said, fine. They said, you're doing good work. Keep it up.
And if Ron stayed on the commission, which he was invited to do, he could have continued to have that contact. I don't think that was very appropriate.
Well, I also didn't feel it would, I felt we should maintain that contact. We already
Absolutely.
had a relationship with the Lunar Foundation. I mean, to me, it was a professional relationship coming from the Conservation Commission.
Right.
And although Ron had a personal contact, it shouldn't be viewed that way. It's not.
So the only two people who were here at that time were Kathy and Trudy. So I'm going to ask you guys a point blank question. Do you think we should have received Ron's permission and blessing before we reached out to the Wiener grant?
Interesting question. Uh,
Kathy, let me remind you that that grant had been submitted on Ron's watch. He was still the chair when that grant got submitted. We were just waiting to see if the money was going to come. And all I did is I picked up the phone and I called them. I said, what's the status of the grant? And they asked me a few questions. I answered them, and they said they would look at it again. And then in April, they called me and said, we're sending you the money.
Right. So Kathy, you were going to answer. Do you think that we had the responsibility?
I
Or
really
did-
feel that my place is not to make a judgment on this either way. It's not my place to do that. Ron
I'm
did
asking,
and Tony did his action, and I really don't feel it's appropriate for me to answer that question or make a judgment on it. It's our
I'm
goal.
asking you.
Our goal
Well,
is to do public service, to do for the public good, and my focus is really just to talk about this committee because I thought it was a really grand idea. And again, I really don't want to make a judgment call on Ron's behavior or phone calls that were made. I wasn't involved with them, and I just don't think it's appropriate.
My question was, do you think we as the commission should have asked Ron's permission before we followed up on the responsibility of the commission regarding the grant?
Answer that question.
Okay. So again, we have a responsibility to the commission to, in my opinion, to follow up on the work of the commission. And that's what we did. I don't feel that we did anything inappropriate. We'd love to see Ron come back here and participate if he would like to participate. And again, hopefully that has answered the parts of the grievance, because here's the deal. If you think that the grievance was justified, all right, then we need to address those points. Does anybody feel that the grievances were justified? Okay.
I don't really know about the details of the grievances, but I just wanted to add that, you know, Ron was a part of the Conservation Commission for years, as everyone knows, long time. And I was involved with the group over the last 4 or 5 years, and everybody's really good friends. And he's a gentleman of a certain generation, and maybe that just was kind of an etiquette thing of you know, that was his connection and him helping set that up to make that happen for the commission and for that money to be received through his friendship with them. So maybe it was just a misunderstanding in that kind of way. I just wanted to add that maybe that could be what it
Yeah.
was.
I think that's a good point.
That's a good point.
I feel that
Yeah, good point.
given the specific time frame and where we were, you know, Ron definitely is, you know, of a certain generation, which you kindly stated. You know, he was having trouble with this format, you know, and your emphasis on, you know, this is a new emphasis on social media and stuff. You have to realize for time immemorial, the majority of the volunteers in Roxbury had gray hair or were bald. Okay. I mean, that is, you know, you have to, if you looked at the senior center and, you know, during the time period of COVID and, you know, how difficult it was, you know, the senior center is a really active thing in this community, and COVID kind of chopped off all of that connection.
Right.
to a lot of citizens that are not savvy about Facebook or Instagram or tweeting or anything like that.
Right.
And I think that, Ron is definitely kind of a product of that time. And, like it was definitely, we were a group of civic minded friends. Now we're a little bit more official and following, better rules, etc. So we could accuse him of behaving badly, but
I'm
I
sure,
would
if
definitely forgive him because I
What
think.
good would
he got
that
a lot
do?
off.
I'm sure if I had picked up the phone and called Ron and said, hey, Ron, will you follow up with the Wiener grant, see if we're gonna get the money? I'm sure if
Right.
I had to do over again, I would have done it that way. And there would have been no hurt feelings.
Well, again, it kind of just dropped off of this, and I don't know what the reasons were, but we had a responsibility to the commission. We followed through with that. I have to now make a response in regards to the grievance email, because that's what you do. Somebody files a grievance, you send it to Barbara Henry, we have to file. I was going to reply, and I said, you know what, we have to reply as a commission after the meeting. How would you like me to reply to that grievance email?
Give him a phone call.
He put it in writing, I have to put it in writing.
Well,
So
you can
this is-
follow it up with writing.
he
Have you talked to
actually-
Barbara about it?
I've talked to Barbara about it,
Okay.
Can I just remind everyone, everyone only talk out like one time because it comes through really jumbled in the audio and I can't catch what everyone is saying. So just a reminder, just wait until, whoever's speaking is finished speaking. Thank you.
So from what I've heard today, I'm going to give a summarization. And this, it sounds like what we want to do is give an apology for not communicating the decision-making of contacting the Wiener Grant. In regards to communicating with the public in regards to the minutes, I don't think that we are out of step there. I think that we're giving it a best effort and improving every month in regards to that. Does anybody else feel that we are not communicating appropriately to the town? Our meetings are recorded. You can listen to the entire meeting. We've opened up the meetings to everybody. We publicize them to everybody. Does anybody feel that they're getting the agenda and the minutes in an inappropriate amount of time?
No.
Okay.
I don't know.
So I can ask for clarification on what he meant with that, or I can just say, please contact us if you would like to get the information quicker. In regards to the bat house, I'll reiterate what we did and on what our future plan is to resolve that grievance. Is everybody, and then again, extend the olive branch and say, hey, in the future, would you like to be part of this conversation with it's the Wiener Society or
It's the Wiener Foundation. or
Wiener Foundation? Thank you.
Wiener Philanthropy.
Okay.
Good Lord, is that-
So does everybody feel that that is an appropriate way to answer?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, I think he may have just felt disrespected or just left out when he was the main connection there. And that's understandable to me.
Yes.
I
That
think
would have hurt my feelings, I think. So,
And it goes a little deeper than that too. I think there was a major change that was unexpected, which has a lot to do with it, I'm sure.
Okay.
At the end of last year.
So we'll move forward with that. We have July in-person meeting. We need to pick a location. Any recommendations?
we could meet at Apple Lane Park, right? But that's where they were meeting before,
I like the library.
outside.
I like the library screened patio, not screened, the screened patio with the awning.
Oh,
We
yeah.
could also meet at town hall now. It's open.
Oh, it's even better.
Lorenzo, you talking about a hybrid meeting, correct?
Yeah, which we'll have a camera and a microphone.
Well, the town hall has a good setup for that because we used it
Right.
over Memorial Day weekend.
Then it has to be town hall then, if it's
Yeah.
gonna be.
If you're gonna do hybrid, right?
Yeah, we did, we had our scholarship interviews over the Memorial Day weekend, and it was a hybrid thing. We had students coming in, and then we had some students being interviewed via Zoom. And Jimmy set this all up with a big monitor and camera. I mean, it worked out well.
Perfect. So do I hear a motion to have the next meeting at hybrid, but at the town hall?
Make a motion.
I'll second it.
Perfect. Any discussion?
I'm sorry, who seconded that?
Suzanne,
Suzanne,
Thank you.
any discussion?
Lorenzo, you're gonna need a key to town hall.
yeah, you gotta
Well-
call them and let them know you're coming.
Well, we also have to make sure no one else has the room at that time. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and make that request. I'm going to amend the motion. The motion is to have the meeting in the town hall with the Zoom set up. If that meeting space is not available, I amend the motion to include the screened in area at the library. And I'll take care of making sure that we have a microphone and video camera and computer.
Lorenzo, I'm going down there this week, probably Friday. I can ask Jimmy. Oh no, it's closed Friday. Well, I'm in
Perfect.
contact with Jimmy. I'll just email.
Perfect. All right, any further discussion after the amendment? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Any opposed? Any abstain? Motion's passed. Roxbury Community Legacy Garden, is that that's not the box. That's not the Chinese knotweed.
No,
Here, let's hope not.
Kathy, go ahead.
I don't know whether we got a consensus about creating a committee for the wildlife educational and cultural, basically subcommittee.
I'll
Has that
make
been,
a,
I think that was really
we had a
settled.
conversation. I think that we should hold off, table that in the lack of time here, because it's 8:03.
Okay,
We're gonna try to keep these meetings to 8 minutes. I think it needs further discussion just to formulate it and kind of,
okay. So maybe on the agenda for next.
and we'll definitely put it on the agenda for next week.
Okay,
And maybe you can sketch up how you think it will work and you can send that over to Aaron and we can circulate that amongst the group.
okay.
Thank you.
Pretty simplistic, but okay.
Well, it's good for the members that aren't here too, just to kind of have an idea that they can view it before the next meeting.
Right. Roxbury Community Legacy Garden.
yeah, so this is the little garden in between the library and the senior center across from the Booth School. And I just wanted everyone to know how the space is being utilized because I was contacted about it back in like April, and several of the families and I worked back in 2018 with Paula specifically at the library to revive the garden in 2018. So they planted the garden and have Paula has a little I can't remember the exact name of her little program. I think it's Water, Weed, Eat, and Read. And she wasn't able to do it last year, but she wants to do it again this summer. And then Chapag School donated a bunch of plant seedlings to the Booth School kids, and they set up a plan and they planted the garden a few weeks ago with the kids at the Booth School. And in the past years, when we revived the garden, also the Roxbury Bridgewater Garden Club was involved some too. And the Booth School hasn't been doing any, having any outdoor people come in and do any programs or anything. So they're not doing anything right now, but the Roxbury Bridgewater Garden Club did plant a pollinator garden in there, or they donated some plants. And in, I think 2019, 18 or 19, one of the school's parents was able to get connected with an Audubon program. So they did some native plantings on the outside of the fence of the garden, and that's being maintained, and we will continue with that program when we can. But I just wanted everyone to know what was going on with it, because a lot of people ask about the community garden and what's going on and what's happening. The senior center has not been really involved with it in the last several years. But of course, if there's any kind of harvest, we would donate it to them for their soups on lunch or whatever. And in the past, some of the harvest has been donated to the New Milford Hospital through Adrian, who was one of the members of the Roxbury Bridgewater Garden Club. So
That's good. Do you think Paula would be open to giving a 5-minute presentation at our next meeting?
maybe I can ask her. But she was really excited to do the program again. So now the garden's planted, and she's going to do that program, and we'll do whatever programs we can. But the kids at least got to the chance to plant, and have a connection. We did have, Trudy was part of this. I don't think Kathy was at our meetings, but when we met with the school officials, with the Joey's Trail connection and trying to get programs happening with the garden in connection with the Joey's Trail thing. So there'll be more programs as there can be, but and then I thought also, I don't know if I could add it in, but I thought we could put it into the pollinator pathway. I don't think anybody's done that yet.
That'll be cool. I mean, I don't know what in the garden, how much of that garden needs to be.
Just, it doesn't have to be a defined amount.
Yeah. Okay. Why don't you explore that with Tony and Aaron, as far as if we can get it on the map and register it.
Jesse, do you still have that? I sent out an email to everybody about a little tutorial on how you sign up your property to be on the pollinator. So
Yes,
you just go on that, sign up the community garden there.
Yeah, because I just thought of that. I was like, oh, we could put our community garden on
I
there.
was thinking of it too when you talked about native plantings. Because it all
Jessica, if anybody can take photos.
Yeah, we
of the
should put
garden.
Joey's Trail on it too, because Joey's Trail has native plantings, and that qualifies. That would qualify.
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, I don't know if there are any current pictures now, but one of the parents started it's called the Roxbury Community Legacy Garden. There was a group of us that met that included some of the senior people. So that's what the name was. The committee came up with that name, and the mission. We have a mission statement. We have a Facebook page. I don't know if there's any new photographs up there at this moment, but we can definitely have pictures of it.
Well, we can go ahead and have those posts from the Facebook page repopulated on our Facebook page as well. We could share photos. If somebody I'll tell you what, if somebody did a time lapse once a week, they took a picture. I mean, people are always amazed how things grow and how quickly things grow.
Yeah.
So, that could be a whole education thing on its own. So yeah, if you could check with Paula, or if you want to give a presentation, again, we're going to try to keep that a timed presentation, just in the, sake of everyone's time here. There's two other pieces of business that we wanted to bring up that we'll be brief on. The one is the Chinese knotweed. I'll just have, excuse me?
It's Japanese.
Oh, I'm sorry, Japanese knotweed. I apologize.
Oh, dear.
Everything's blamed on China now. So.
Yeah, so Japanese knotweed. I saw the giant knotweed. We just saw the article. It was a great article. If we could share it, we're going to repost it. Aaron, did you have a chance to send that post out on Facebook yet?
No, and I got home about an hour before our meeting.
Yeah,
I'll
no
do it
worries.
tonight.
I'm still in my car, so I get what you're saying.
Get it.
So yeah, if we can, it is a thing here. It is something that we should be communicating to the public, make sure that they could recognize. It's a pain, it kills stuff, which makes it really bad. It killed a whole bunch of our shrubs here a couple of years ago. So now we recognize it, but we also want to make sure that there's some kind of natural way to resolve it and communicate that to the public. So yeah, that's been brought to our attention. There's a great resource. Aaron will send it out to everyone and also place it on the Facebook page. And if we want to bring folks in as speakers, again, that's one of the things that we could do.
Good idea.
All right. So the next thing to bring up is that the Board of Selectmen has done their job and has requested that the Conservation Committee look into a state-run energy program by the name of CPACE, Green Bank's CPACE program. So we said everything that we were going to do was going to be done by committee. We'll go ahead and reach out and do some exploratory on this. Does anybody think that we should not do this? All we're looking for is myself or Tony. I don't know how your bandwidth is, if you want to take this on, but maybe we could go ahead and work on it together. Suzanne, if you have bandwidth, Kathy, if you have bandwidth, whoever wants to work on this, to go ahead and get the information, and then we can report back on that at the next meeting in July.
CPACE.
Is anybody opposed to exploring this?
What is it again exactly?
So we don't know all the details for it. It's a program for state-run energy program that we have to find out what it's all about.
Oh,
So
okay.
they're reaching out. They reached out to Roxbury to see if Roxbury would be interested, and the selectmen met and they recommended that the commission take this up as a project.
Well, yeah, if you have more background, because this is the first I'm hearing of it. So if you could.
Yeah.
pass it
I
on.
was hearing about this last year or so, maybe 18
Yeah.
months ago. There was, and it was in context of doing the solar panels at the landfill.
Oh,
I believe that's the commission.
So again, we've been charged to find out information. So and then we can report back not only to this commission, but also to the selectmen. Again, we're just looking to do a phone call at this point. We're not making any decisions or any recommendations. Is anybody opposed to this?
No, I think it's a good idea.
All right,
that would
so
be-
we will go ahead and do that and report back. Nothing to, so it'll be also entered into the minutes that we're gonna do that.
I just downloaded a PDF. I'll send it out with the minutes.
Perfect.
Yeah, Lorenzo, do you have this in the form of an email that Barbara Henry sent to you, or was
She
it-
just, did she just send the follow-up email, Aaron?
I'm sorry, say that again. She
Yeah,
sent us-
she sent us the contact information of the person to find out more information about it.
Yeah.
Okay,
So that's where we're at.
okay. I mean, if I'm gonna call up somebody, I gotta know what I'm gonna,
Yeah, I'm sure there's a website and all that. Well, why don't we take it offline, Tony?
Okay.
And then we'll figure it out. All right, does anybody else?
Okay.
Suzanne, I know you wanted to be busy here.
Well, I'll try to find out whatever I can about it.
All right, you want to join Tony and I and then this search?
Sure.
All right, perfect. There we go, committee of 3.
Okay.
All right, so we have a game plan for next month. Thank everybody for tonight. We need is there anything else to be brought before the commission before we adjourn for the evening?
I had a
Uh,
land trust update in there. Lorenzo, do you want to table it or?
Do you have the update?
Do I?
Yeah.
No, you had said it. You said you wanted to include
you
a
should
land
have
trust
an interest
update.
update on what was discussed last week
Yeah.
or last month.
Yeah, no, I needed to find out the information on it, but I don't have any update on it.
Okay.
Oh,
So
okay.
let's table it. Let's table it for next month.
Yeah, I think we should pursue that because it sort of to me, it seemed like it was a little open-ended when we left off last month.
Well, when we left it off, the land trust was going to talk about it and see if they were open to the idea. And I haven't heard anything back from them.
Okay.
So has anybody heard anything back? Is anybody on the land trust committee?
No.
Did you say, do you know anyone on the land trust committee? Is that what you said?
Well, have you heard anything about the land trust committee meeting?
No.
So we don't know if it was spoken about. We just have to do that homework. So we'll do that before the next meeting. All right. So we'll add that to the agenda for next month. Aaron?
Yep.
Anything else to discuss?
I just make one suggestion. I'm going to go, I'd like to, between this meeting and next meeting, I'd like to just walk Joey's Trail and just see what's going on. I don't know if anybody's been on it to see what the status is. Does it need the upgrades, need maintenance? Are the weeds taken over? So I can do
Trudy
that.
might,
What's that?
Trudy might know.
I have to walk it too, and check out the state of the plantings. I
Yeah,
haven't done that in a while, because all the garden that we put in, I think things have survived, but I need to check on it again.
yeah,
So-
we'll check and we'll report back. It's an easy short little hike, got a nice day.
Can you guys take some photos while you're there and send them out
Sure.
to everybody?
Sure.
Okay, and
Yeah.
we were going to do plant labels. We had talked about that
That's
previously.
right. We were gonna do plant labels.
We don't know what was planted and what the names of it are. I know I don't.
I know, I even got a price on the plant labels, which
I remember that.
I guess I still have it stored somewhere. I gotta go dig it up.
Because we should do that. Don't you think so, Trudy?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I can identify, a lot of stuff, but not
Yeah.
every.
That's
I
what the
heard that-
weed grant money was supposed to be used for. So now that we've got it, we can, spend it to do that.
Yep. We talked about that last summer.
Perfect. And if we end up meeting at the library, even better,
Yeah, yeah. How about that?
right?
There's
So
a thing.
let's, anything else before we adjourn? All right, thank you all. Do I hear before we take the motion, I'm just gonna, friendly reminder, invite your friends and family members and anybody who would care to be part of the conversation about conservation to the meeting. Again, we want to attract folks and use this as an opportunity or a gateway for them to be active in the Roxbury community. We're here to maintain the community and the ruralness of Roxbury for the enjoyment of its inhabitants. So, some people are just looking for a way to get involved. They don't have to be board members. They don't have to make every meeting, but they're always welcome to join us and bring their ideas and share in the work and roll up their sleeves and do the fun stuff. All right. So that's your friendly reminder. All right, everyone. And please share Facebook, Instagram, invite folks to it. And thank you again. So do I hear a motion for the adjournment?
Motion.
Second.
All right, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Have a wonderful evening, everyone. Thank you again.
Lorraine. Here,
We'll miss you.
everybody.